Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate agent Brian St.Clair of RE/MAX Heritage based out of Keller, Texas. Brian has been a realtor for 11 years and is dedicated to serving his clients before, during, and after the purchase or sale of their home. RE/MAX has honored him with many production awards, including Platinum Club in 2015 and 16, RE/MAX Hall of Fame in 2015, and multiple quarterly awards for the Tarrant County Region. D Magazine in Dallas, Texas has honored him with their top producers in Dallas-Fort Worth in 2015 and 16. All right, with all that said, Brian, welcome to the show.
Great. How are you today, Keith?
I'm doing excellent, Brian. We certainly appreciate you taking the time here today. And I guess if we could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
Well, actually, I started off in contracting when I was still in high school and kind of grew up in the housing industry. One of the things I always tell my people that I go to visit clients and customers, I say, I can't change the oil in my car, but I can pretty much do anything on a house and have done on a house. So it was a natural transition for me to go right into real estate because I know houses. That's what I do. That's what I've always done since I was 16 years old, since when I could drive. That's all I've ever done is just housing.
And do you think you talk about what personal attributes, traits, or qualities you think have most contributed to the success that you've had in real estate?
Absolutely. The things that I like about myself and my personal attributes is I'm committed to excellence. I'm honest with my clients. I'm honest with people in the industry in general. And then it's just a real sense of detail that I provide. I'm one of these guys that's really big on systems and, keeping track of things, checklists and things like that, and the different systems that my team uses to make this business work. It's just been developed through, years of trial and error and wanting to be as good as I possibly can to serve my clients best.
And Brian, do you think you give our listeners an example of when these traits have played a role in your path towards success?
Well, sure. Like I say, the checklist and the systems really make it a very simple process for people as we go through this. Buyers, when they first come to me, they're sometimes a little haphazard about what they're trying to do, looking for a mortgage, looking for somebody, a referral to a mortgage company or a referral to a contractor to get their house ready to sell. Those are all things that I provide. I think any good realtor should have a list of things that they go through on every single transaction. It took me many years to figure out, hey, this is the order that I want to do it in, that I'm comfortable with, and that I can direct people to kind of hold their hand as they go through the transaction.
And Brian, I think whenever somebody has success, either in their career or business, that sometimes the road to get there is filled with, adversities and trials along the way. Can you talk about some of the adversities and trials that you had to overcome in order to achieve your goals?
Sure. Keith, in this business, everything seems to be a trial or an adversity at some point. Every deal has a hurdle that it has to jump at some point. And that's where you get to a point where you're really good at getting, instead of throwing your hands up in the air and saying, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's sitting down with the client and saying, hey, you know what, there's a way around this. We just need to figure out what it is. It's working with your team or your lender and your title company and finding a way around a problem. That's the main thing that I focus on. I'm a problem solver. Sometimes I tell people I have to put on my problem solver hat, 2 or 3 times during a transaction. Hopefully never, but it does happen.
And I guess, Brian, as these obstacles come up, what keeps you going? Why don't you give up what your driving force?
My driving force is my family, my belief system. I focus on helping people. I really enjoy working with people and getting them a home. I love handing somebody the keys and saying, congratulations, you guys, you're going to make them, your family's going to be really happy here for many years to come. That's what really makes me who I am. And it's always that balancing act that we all have to do between, our career and our family. And we want to be the best for both but it's really difficult to do. So the drive for me is, of course, you got to pay the bills, but more importantly, I really enjoy making people very happy where they live.
And Brian, looking forward, what's your vision for your business and your career over the next 5 years?
My vision is to continue to do what I've been doing, to refine the systems, to the checklist, to make sure that every transaction goes as smoothly as possible, to root out anything that we think is going to be a problem in the future. I've closed a couple of houses this week, and there was always that last-minute thing that comes up and has to be handled. And I like fixing those problems, but I want to get to a system where those problems don't exist because they've been taken care of much earlier in the transaction.
And Brian, I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way you market yourself as a real estate professional so that you can have continual growth?
The most important thing to me is the name recognition. I do quite a bit of internet advertising as far as, it's not really paid advertising, but it's getting those testimonials from past clients. About 90% of my business is by referral. I'm a realtor that I don't drive my car with my name on the side. I don't want to work with just everyone. I want to really focus on working for my clients that I've worked with in the past and their referrals. So that's the majority of my business. The marketing arm of it, as far as the internet advertising and refrigerator magnets and everything else that goes along with in this industry where you're buying advertising constantly, those are good. Those are the places that I put my name so that when I do get a referral from a past client and they go, well, who's Brian St.Clair? Then they can Google me and they can say, oh, he really knows what he's doing. So that's the most important part to me.
Excellent. And Brian, I think sometimes when the general public looks at real estate agents, they don't fully understand the value that they provide from both a buyer and a seller standpoint. What do you think the biggest misconception or myth people have about working with a real estate agent?
It's funny you asked that. I had some people that came into the office the other day that are new agents, and we were sitting in a training class, and I was kind of going through some things with them, and they were like, well, this is going to be an easy job. And I think that's the biggest misconception, is that it's an easy job to be a realtor. Is it easy sometimes? Yes, it is. Is it difficult sometimes? Absolutely. So it's that balancing act that you do get easy transactions that close in 21 days, and then you have others that are delayed 30 days. So I think the biggest misconception from the public and even from within the industry itself is that being a realtor is an easy job. It's a challenging job, and it's really fun when you do get those challenges and you get a success when you overcome a challenge.
And Brian, let's say you get a call from a family member or a friend, and they're in another state, and they want to sell their home. Now, obviously, with your experience and probably with your connections, you could look up an agent and do a referral. But from a general advice standpoint, what advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs?
The best thing that I can tell my family member, or anyone for that matter, is you need to look for a professional, somebody that knows what they're doing. The way you do that is you're going to look at their credentials. The letters after somebody's name don't always mean something, but sometimes they do. So it's good to look for people that have been in the business for a while. Then I would do a Google search, and I would look up testimonials, and I would look at how many clients that have really good things to say. More importantly, you look at the ones that don't have something good to say. Call the agent, have a conversation with them, and probably the most important thing that you can do is just go meet with them and see if there's a fit there, the personality, the drive, the expectations that are set by a professional realtor and a client are the most important thing that happen in the transaction, because that way the agent and the client know exactly what each other are going to do and how they're going to perform as they go through this transaction.
Excellent. And Brian, obviously based out of Keller, which is the northern Fort Worth, Texas area, and if somebody's looking for real estate services or an agent in that general area, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help them?
Oh, sure, Keith. The best way to find me is to Google me. You just type in Brian St.Clair Realtor into a Google search. I'll probably be the very top result. If they want to give me a call, they're welcome to at 817-725-5700. 3008. That's my office number, and we're here usually during the day, and if we're not here, you can leave a message, and I usually call people back within an hour or two.
Excellent. Well, Brian, obviously we want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here today and share all your professional real estate experience with our listeners. And if you're listening and you want to learn more about Brian, like you said, you could go on Google and search him, or you could give him a call. Also below this interview, we'll have any contact information we have, so you can reach out and see how Brian can help you with your real estate needs. So with that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.